Hello, my wee friends. It's Paddy from across the shuck, and I'm going to have a little bit of a controversial video this morning. I haven't had one for a while, have I? I've been a good boy. And you can see in front of you, and you probably already guessed what I'm going to go on about. And it's how my channel started. I started with budget knives, and over this last couple of years, and I've now passed the 2000k. I know I've done my giveaway a wee bit early, but to get past 2k is just unbelievable. And there's a lot of people that I've got to thank, but I would never get through this. I would never get through a video thanking people because there's been so many, and they've helped me along the way. And some I'm still in touch with, some not so much, some every now and then. And that's just the way it seems to go, like that. But the important people are still all around, and I still bounce ideas off them, and they give me their ideas, which is nice. And what I'm going to do this morning, I'm going to talk about what I believe now, because now I have got some good knives and still have my budget knives, which I love because they're the ones I tend to use more. I'm going to do some comparisons and what you get for buying budget and what you get for buying the proper knife. And I've got two examples here. And one example is, one of these knives is probably the most world-known EDC knife, loved by most people who have had one, love them. And on the other hand here, I have one of the most popular EDCs that's loved by most people who have ever had them. The difference is that they're cheaper Chinese, in this instance Ganzos. One is extremely close visually and what it can do compared to the other one, which I think is better than the original. So there is a bit of a difference there, and I picked these two particularly. I have got other ones, but these were the two I picked for them. That maybe it'll become clearer as we're going to go ahead. And the two that I've chosen that are the real knives, the reason I've chosen them is because they were gifts. They were gifts from my subscribers who are still my subscribers. These were absolutely stunning gifts. And I was so pleased to get them. One of them because it's a budget knife that I'd always wanted, but because I had the cheaper Ganzo version, I'd never bought this one. But now I've got this one, I use it more than I use this. Strange. The other one is one of the most expensive knives I've got and gifts that I was given, and it's against the Ganzo that was one of my first knives that I bought as a budget channel starting, because there's no way I could have afforded this whatsoever. And the thing about this is not as good as this, but it's a heck of a good imitation for the fact that if you haven't got the money to buy this, this does give you, a realistic outlook on what you've got to come. And this I absolutely love now, much more than I love this, but this was a great stand-in until I could get this. So, let's start. Look at this big beauty. The Rat Model 1, an absolutely workhorse of our community. Most people have had one, seen one, handled one. I hadn't. But what I could have, I know this is only 30 or 40 bucks over in America. It's probably about 50 bucks here in the UK. Although that's not an expensive knife, it was more than I could afford when I started. So I bought the Ganzo 727? Yeah, 727M. And I bought it in the wood because I thought it looked nice. And if I put them both together, there is a bit of a difference. The Rat Model 1 is a little bit bigger than the Ganzo. Everything else, the handle shape, I'll bring that up to you now. Their handle shape, everything about them is very, very similar. It was nearly a direct copy. Now, the Ganzo is smaller. So if you want to go by letter law, the Ganzo is smaller than the Rat one. It's also got an axis lock that the Rat one doesn't have. The Rat one just has a liner lock. So they're not the same. The Rat one shoots out much better than the Ganzo. The Ganzo is more playable because it's got the axis lock. But this has Oz 8 and this is 440C. And I remember the birds doing a competition to see which one cut the most. And the Ganzo won cutting rope. Well, I think was it rope, or it could have been cardboard, anything. I think they cut up a whole lot of different pieces of stuff. But the Ganzo won. So the Ganzo being about $20 cheaper than this, I was quite impressed. And it was the first time that steels had sort of come into focus. Like, I'm thinking, well, why is this, so much dearer than this if this is better steel? And I didn't realize I didn't accept the concept of, they have to design it, they have to make it, but they're both made in the same general vicinity. Do you know what I mean? One's I think these are Taiwan, aren't they? Where does it say? Yeah, Taiwan and China. So they're both made in the same sort of vicinity, and both, I can honestly say, both are great knives. And I can say now that I have both of them, if I want a big knife to go out to the yard, funnily enough, I'll pick this. Although I know the steel is better and I'll cut more with this, I pick this because I just like that. I like that feeling. I like the Oz 8 is fine and it sharpens just as easily as the 440C, so I don't have that. And if you can sharpen your knife, I always think life's an awful lot easier being a knife collector. So this sharpens easy, takes a razor sharp edge. This sharpens easy, takes a razor sharp edge. But I just like this one. Now, the feeling in the hand, if I'm going to be honest, for my hands, the Ganzo is a better feeling. Just straight up, the Ganzo is a better feeling. That little small difference in size makes this a more comfortable knife in my hand. Which, again, why do I go to this? I don't know. Is it a mental thing? Is it because I know this is the real thing and this was a copy? Or is it the fact that this knife, its shape, its everything about it, it's just a work knife and it feels like a work knife. It's by no means uncomfortable. In fact, it's very, very comfortable. But if I was to go on exact measurements to my hand, this fits better. But I will take this if I'm going to do some work, because I believe this was the original and still the best work knife. Now, you've got a D2 model now, which again, I don't feel the need to get because I've got this. Although, yes, D2 is going to last longer. I have other knives I can use that'll do that, so I don't feel that I need it. And I like balancing these two together. When I sit and do these wee individual things in my head, and I do, some nights I get out and pick and see what's what. So that's a strange one. It really is quite strange that I know this one is actually better now than this, as in it cuts better. I like the axis lock better. It's better in my hand. I still go for this when I want something to work. I can't explain that. Is that because I know it's the real thing? I don't know. Do I subconsciously want the real thing rather than a mimic? Don't know. Can't give you the answer to that. But both great knives. And if you're just starting out and you can't afford this, you can afford 3 of these for one of these. Do you know what I mean? Or say 2 of these for one of these. So that's how it worked when I started. I always went with what I could get more of because I wanted to build up a collection. Now, the next one is the Ganzo. This is the Ganzo G729. And this is the copy, obviously, of the Paramilitary 2. And it's a great copy of the Paramilitary too. Again, extremely comfortable in the hand. It's a great blade shape, but it's got an axis lock, which is not the same as what this has got. So, and this is a wee bit smaller than that, but I mean, it flicks out just as good as it really does. As good as. The only difference between this and this is this lock, which makes a huge difference. The steel is much different. You got S30V steel on this. You have got the most, look at that, beautiful drop shot blade. This mechanically and how it's put together is just amazing. It's an amazing piece of construction. This, for the price that it is, I mean, this, don't forget, $20. This, 120, say, roughly 130. Probably 130 for the all blackout version. But two really good knives. Is this anywhere near as good as this? No. But stylistically, it looks very like it. The axis lock is different. It gives you another play option, a different play option than what that does. I can open it, you know, every way that I can open I'm not doing the opening very good, am I? I'm not concentrating. I can open this every way that I can open that. Give up. This, I just find the locking system is just amazing. So, which one do I want to use all the time? Well, to be honest with you, this is a work knife, and it's an EDC work knife, and I do use this as my EDC very, very frequently. But if I'm going to do dirty work, or work that I want, especially the pointy end, this is a great point for getting into things, I will use this one rather than risk damaging this one. Now, I don't mean prying. I mean, if I'm just having to do some intricate and I want to dig out a hole or whatever I want to use, I would rather break the tip off this than break the tip off this. So I'll use this for the dirtier work, the more punishing work. And I keep this as my EDC because I love this knife. This is one of my favourite knives. It's probably second only to my Benchmade 940, which, as you all know, and that's why I haven't brought that out, because that's my grail. So nothing's going to beat that. But that's probably second now. And I didn't think it would have been. I thought this knife here would have been enough. I thought it would have. It looks, especially when I got the knives and I set them down together, and I thought, wow. Do you know, all right, yes, it's a wee bit smaller, but by goodness, in hand, in cutting, I mean, it's 440C, cuts S30V, which is not incredibly hard to sharpen either, and lasts a fair bit longer than 440C. But if you're just starting out, I recommend this. The same way that I recommend this, you know, I really highly recommend them. If you're just starting out and you want to get knives that are going to last you, that can do work, and that are similar in their working attitude to the knives that they were meant to copy. And I know we shouldn't be buying copy knives. I know we're all that. But these are plastered with Ganzo Firebird all over them. They're not something that I'm going to trick somebody into buying to think it's a PM2. That's different. These are just Ganzo's version of what they're, because they are different. Axis lock, compression lock, you know, axis lock, liner lock, different again. So they're never going to be the knife that they look like. So that's how I can justify the fact that they are really good knives to buy until you can afford the more expensive one. This one, you can weigh up whether you want it or not. This is probably a better knife than this, but yet this, the Aussie version, is just so good. And you can buy the Aussie version now for probably the same price as you can buy the Ganzo, because of the D2 version that's out. Now, I have the Rat 2 and D2 Amazing, amazing knife. You couldn't compare these with a D2 blade. But if I'm going to cut, I'm going to cut. If I'm going to go out and do rough cutting, I can take either one of these. It'll not bother me. It'll not bother me. But I do take this one, strangely enough, and I can't explain it. If I'm going to do rough work, I'll take this one. But I carry this more. I carry this more. Only my 940 and my bug out would beat this for pocket time. Now, why am I going back to Ganzos? Because Ganzo have changed, and I feel that, you know, they had a real rough time with people for a long time, and I think Ganzo have now, you know, they had to get started some way, and I suppose copying other people's was their way of getting into the market and getting people to buy their knives. And then they come out with things like this. This is their own design. Look at this. Ball bearing locks, you know, just unbelievable quality. And I've reviewed that one. Absolutely out of this world. That is the, my goodness, FB763. An amazing piece of cutlery. Full stop. Here's another one. This is coming up now tomorrow. Probably I'll review this one. And this is the Ganzo FB762. And this again, just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Nothing I can fault with a knife. Just beautiful. Smaller, slimmer than this knife. It's a nice loud backspacer if you want to take it out to the woods. But folks, I really do. I have a lot of my subscribers now, and I'm glad to see it, that are now that are budget subscribers, and I love the budget side of this community. We are probably in the best time ever for budget, and I just think now's the time to get out there and investigate, try the different lines. There's so many now that have come about. For a while now, there wasn't many coming about in the budget line, because I think they were put off by, I think everybody had gone crazy for these $500-600 knives, and there is a place for them. They're beautiful, and I'm not saying I wouldn't have one. Of course we'd all want to go up that ladder, but I think we'd left a lot of people behind, because they were coming into the knife community and they're going, well, I can't afford that. What am I going to do? And that's what I felt like when I came around. And it was people's encouragement that said, well, just go and get a Ganzo. Go and get an SRM. Go and get, San Remo, sorry. Go and get an Enland. Go and get that. And that's what people told me. And then that is how I progressed. So I'm going to do the same now to those coming about. You don't have to go out and copy and get 100-odd pound knives. You don't have to. I mean, this is 130, 140 pounds. You do not have to go and buy this when you can get this for 20 pounds. And it'll do you completely adequately till you can afford that one. But I do recommend that in time, save up and get one of these. The Ganzo ones are absolutely brilliant as standards, but I do think now that I've tasted both sides, yeah, there is a time when you want to start saving up for the better ones. And that is the progression of knife collecting and becoming a knife junkie, is that you will progress, but don't be frightened to start off with names like Ganzo, San Remo, Enland. They're all out there. You places like GearBest, AliExpress. I mean, I'm sponsored by GearBest. They have a huge selection of budget knives and different locking systems. And it gives you a chance to take knives apart. It gives you a chance to find out how they work. And I just want those that are just about now that have come in with a budget background, there's plenty out there. Don't go chasing the big bucks and get yourself in debt when you're just around. This is an example of what you can get compared to the real ones. But this is an example now of the companies like Ganzo are now making their own designs, are now bringing out knives that stand alone as nice knives. Do you know what I mean? Ganzo are mostly all 440C, which is a great working steel. It is great. It's easy to sharpen. It's rustless. Well, it's not rustless, but it does rust less than most other steels. 440 is a good non-rustable steel. I've just done it again. Rustless steel. Now, that wasn't very controversial, but what it was is, it's just, I see so many of the budget channels about now. I don't want you to go away, and don't be frightened of showing off your knives if you haven't got expensive knives. I enjoy watching the joy of people who enjoy the knife, not the price of the knife, but the knife. And should that knife be a $20 knife or a $200 knife, you can see the joy in their face. I mean, I have just bought my most expensive knife. It's cost me, say with delivery, about 140, 150 quid. That's what I spent. A wee bit less than that, actually, probably about 140. But it's my most expensive knife. And that's huge to me. The joy I've got, I haven't got it yet. It's on its way from America. Luvthemknives, God love him, jumped in again and helped me out. And as he's done before. Great channel. I recommend him. He's a great channel to go over to because he'll show you budget and he'll show you expensive. And you get to see in full detail what you can get for your money at whatever price bracket. He's brilliant at doing the price bracket from £20 to £400. He'll show you them. Now, I think that's it. I just enjoyed getting my knives out, having a little play with them, and remembering what I thought of these when I got them, how much I loved this knife when I got it, because it looked like a knife I would love to have. Do you know what I mean? It just looked like it. But it's now all cleaned up. I don't use it very much now, but this I do use. This I do use. This is just stunning. I love the all black, which I wouldn't have picked myself, to be honest. Love the all black. So I think that was Steve Kluver giving me this one. And this was... He's going to kill me. Oh, for goodness sake. Jay, the knife beater. I couldn't get his name out. Jay gave me this along with another knife, which I love as well, but we'll see that another day. But this is just, I'm sorry, Jay, mind blown. Jay gave me this in all black, and I absolutely love it. Love it. In fact, I'm now looking for more all black knives. So there we go. Take care, folks. I've waffled. Sorry. Bye.